Detective John Stone had seen his fair share of murders in his time on the force, but the one he was currently investigating left him stumped. The victim, a wealthy businessman named Edward Parker, had been found dead in his office, with no signs of a break-in or struggle. The door had been locked from the inside, and the only way in was with a key or a passcode. Stone and his partner, Detective Sarah Adams, had interviewed everyone who had access to the office, but none of them had seen or heard anything suspicious. The security footage showed no one entering or leaving the building around the time of the murder. As they combed through the evidence, Stone began to notice some peculiarities. The victim's body had been found on the floor, but the chair behind the desk was pushed in, as if someone had been sitting there. The victim's laptop was open, but the screen was blank, and there was a cup of coffee on the desk, still warm to the touch. Stone knew that something wasn't adding up. He started to dig deeper into the victim's life. Talking to his family, friends, and business associates, he discovered that Parker had been having an affair with his secretary, Mary Johnson. She had been in the office earlier that day, but had left before the murder occurred. Stone began to suspect that Mary was involved in the murder, but the evidence still didn't make sense. How could she have entered the office, killed Parker, and left without being seen on the security footage? And how could she have locked the door from the inside without leaving any fingerprints? As he was pondering these questions, Stone had a sudden realization. The cup of coffee on the desk was the key. He tested the temperature of the coffee and found that it had been brewed just minutes before Parker's death. That meant that someone had been in the office with him, drinking coffee and waiting for the right moment to strike. Stone went back to the security footage and watched it again, this time paying close attention to the reflections in the window. That's when he saw it, a figure in a hooded sweatshirt, standing just outside the door. It was Mary, waiting for Parker to finish his coffee so she could slip into the office unnoticed. Stone had cracked the case. Mary had used a passcode to enter the office and had locked the door behind her as she left. She had worn gloves to avoid leaving any fingerprints and had disguised herself with a hooded sweatshirt. But she had overlooked one crucial detail: the cup of coffee on the desk. Thanks to Stone's careful observation and deduction, Mary was arrested and charged with the murder of Edward Parker. The case had seemed insolvable, but Stone had used his wits and persistence to bring the killer to justice.